All right, y'all. You know how Steppin Marcus J is live. We're in the building. We are ready to have a great show. We're looking forward to you being here with us tonight. We appreciate it. We got our long-awaited returns the first Monday, so you know who's in the building. We'll introduce that person here on the other side of the intro here. Special guest Dave in L.A. is going to be in the building with us, so we look forward to talking to him via the phone in LA. Got a lot to get into. Manny Pacquiao had a fight with Floyd Mayweather. There's still a lot going on in Baltimore. We got a special segment from our guest here tonight, and Marcus J is in a weird mood tonight, so ain't no telling what the hell I might say. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J is live.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying,
then you must be half stepping.
ain't no how Steppin Marcus J is live. We in the building. Be down with us tonight. 804-402-2893. Be a part of the flagship show, Legacy and Net Radio. We appreciate everybody that's here with us listening to the show. Thank you to everybody who is listening to us on their mobile phones, smartphones, tablets, computers, on TuneIn. Thank you to the folks that have hit the Legacy Internet Radio website and you found our links and you found our show. So thank you to you. Thank you to everybody who is listening to the replay on YouTube right now. It is because of you that we continue to be the flagship show right here live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. Our phone number to call and be a part of the discussion tonight is 804-402-2893. So thank you to you and yours. It's because you continue to come to Legacy Internet Radio every single week. It's the reason why we continue to grow, being one of the fastest and most consistent internet radio stations in the RVA, Richmond, Virginia area and beyond. So we appreciate it. 6-7 days a week. We're here every day, bringing you the best in talk and music and sports and comedy and everything that you want to hear. So thank you. There's a lot to get into tonight. As I let off here, I got a special guest. You'll hear from him here momentarily. We've got our brother Dave in LA who's going to join us later on. In the 8 o'clock hour, he'll have some commentary for us tonight. We'll be talking about what's going on in Baltimore, and he's going to ask, we're going to ask the question, what does exaction mean? What does exaction? That's a word. I need you guys to Google it, look it up, and Dave will come on tonight and tell us what exaction actually means. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about the epic fight that we had over the weekend, just under 48 hours ago. Floyd Money Mayweather had a fight against Manny Pacquiao. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about boxing, which we never do here on the show, but everybody was into it, and so we'll have some commentary on that. And then closing out the show, we'll have a monthly segment we call a Roundtable that'll be led by our brother, who you hear on the first Monday of every single month, and we refer to him affectionately as Big Rube.
Yeah.
I said we refer to him affectionately as Big Rube.
Yo.
What's up, man?
No, man, just chilling.
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you over there.
Glad to be back in the house. The new house.
Yeah, this is we Legacy Internet Radio has made the big move. We have moved to a bigger and better location, not very far from where we were, but we are, in a bigger and better place. And so we're a lot more comfortable here for a lot of reasons than we were in the other location. And because we've been doing this for 2 years plus, with the help and support of everybody here in the crew, it was time to make a move, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. The den was beautiful, but the Den 2.0.
Is it the Den 2.0?
Den 2.0 is better.
The Den
in every way.
The Den 2.0. You know, it's funny that you call it. I don't know if our brother Jay Grizzy would like that we change the name. You think we can, leave it the Den, or do you want to go with the 2.0? You want to go to 2.0?
At least until
it gets comfortable.
Yeah, we get comfortable. Not that we're not comfortable now, but we want to make sure everybody's comfortable before we give it the grand name of the Den.
Okay.
It's got to earn that spot just like everybody else.
Okay. All right. So the new room has to earn its keep before we refer to it specifically as the Den. It needs to earn the right to be called the Den. So for now, to be the Den 2.0. Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have moved to where we are, not very far from where we were, but we're in a good spot, and we're happy. You're happy. The crew is going to be happy. Everybody, when they come in here, we're the debut show in the new location. Of course, as the flagship show, of course, we want to make sure that we kind of break ground for all of the updates and changes here at Legacy Internet Radio. But, I'm looking forward to Mr. LP tomorrow with Enliven Radio and the Uptown Lounge on Wednesday, and All Throttle Radio and the Listening Party on Thursday, and then the pregame on Friday night, Conversations from Your Sisters with SY and Lissa P on Saturday, as well as the Aaron Turner Show on Saturday. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to everybody getting in here. So now we got all that out of the way. Saturday night, there was a altercation for money.
Yeah.
A sanctioned altercation in Las Vegas, Nevada.
That wasn't in a cage.
It was not in a cage. It was in a squared circle, 20 by 20 as far as I can tell, that had two participants. One was the champion, the welterweight champion, Floyd Money Mayweather, and the other one was the challenger, Manny Pacquiao. Of course, it's a fight that has been a long time in the makings. Depending on who you ask, we've been waiting on this fight for anywhere from a couple of years to 5-6 years. The fight ended up happening finally on Saturday, and you had a unanimous decision that was won by Floyd Money Mayweather. He won by unanimous decision. I believe on one scorecard it was 116-112, and on two scorecards it was 118-110. I was closer in my assessment of closer to the 116-112, even though I was rooting for Pacquiao. I had a feeling that Floyd would win. I'm not a fan of Floyd, so I was rooting for Pacquiao, even though I didn't think that he would win. So I'll set it up for you, Rube. I want you to just jump in here, give me your thoughts, then we'll round table, to use the phrase of your segment. We'll have an early round table now before your real one later on. But what about the fight? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I had a pretty good idea that Mayweather would win. However, I will say Pacquiao gave him a strong 6 rounds. The first 6 rounds was about even, but then, it's like every Mayweather fight. It's like he takes the first 6 rounds to study you, and then the next 6, he just makes you miss all the time, and he just jabs you to death. I mean, literally, he had like 40 more jabs than Pacquiao. He actually out-hit Pacquiao, which was amazing, because, back in the day, this dude threw 1,000 punches in one fight. So he out-hit him. He actually connected more. He only had like 8 or 9 more punches than Pacquiao. But to be perfectly honest with you, just like every Mayweather fight, it was good at the beginning, then it just became slow. It is slow death of Manny Pacquiao, and it was... I didn't pay for it. I hung out. I went to a friend's house. It kept me interested for this time anyway. The last Mayweather fight was so boring. I don't know. I don't remember who he fought, but it was so boring. But yeah, boxing is pretty much dead.
Well, let's be honest. Have we ever seen a Mayweather fight that wasn't boring? I mean, just because he is probably the best pure pound for pound fighter of today's generation. I think that if you disagree with that, then you're not paying attention. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you're not watching his fights because you want to see a great fight. You're just not. Because if you are, then you're watching the wrong dude. Yeah. You're watching his fights because you want to see him continue to win, or you want to see him finally lose. You're not watching him for a great fight. Now, one of the biggest criticisms from the performance of Floyd Mayweather on Saturday night was that he was running. He was running so much in the fight. What do you think about that? When you say that he was, when folks say that he was running, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, you could say he was running, but he does that every fight. What he does, basically what happens, he has the other person out punch. Pacquiao probably led with probably 100 more punches in the first 6 rounds. And he tagged him a couple good times that, Floyd kind of laughed and shook it off, but he got hit a couple uppercuts got him, a couple right hands got him. But after that, basically what Mayweather proves all the time is his cardio is second to none.
Right.
And not that Pacquiao's cardio is bad. Pacquiao's cardio is probably second to Mayweather's because he just started missing. Pacquiao got tired. And, the guy who used to throw 1,000 punches in a fight, he realized that he had to save energy to actually connect because he was missing.
Let me give you some numbers here, Ruben. In the fight, Mayweather landed 148 of 435 punches, which is 34%, while Pacquiao connected on just 19%, which was 81 of 429. So he threw less punches by looks like about six less punches in the fight, but he connected on 148 to 81. Pacquiao only averaged about 6 punches per round and connected on just 18 jabs in the entire fight. At the end of the fight, he said that he won, and people were getting on Max Kellerman when he interviewed him because they said, Max was like, "Really? You think you won?" And he was like, "Yeah." And the other thing that Pacquiao mentioned was that he had an injury to his shoulder, and I thought that was a punk move personally. If you're going to fight, you're going to fight. As a Yankees fan, you and I, we're sitting here watching the Yankees play a game right now. If you're a Yankees fan, that Derek Jeter subscribed to the philosophy of, if you're not hurt, then you play. If you play, you're not hurt. Yeah. And so if you fight, then you're not hurt. I don't want to hear that you just went 12 rounds in the fight, lost, and now all of a sudden you're hurt. I don't want to hear that. That makes you shoulder. Yeah, that makes you a punk to me. And so hearing that about the punch numbers, does that add to your opinion, change your opinion, sway you in any way? What do you think?
Well, I mean, he connected on way more jabs than Pacquiao. Pacquiao connected on, 18, 19 jabs?
Right.
And he connected on like 40, 46 or something like that.
What do you say to the people who say that Floyd just ran through the whole fight? To those people, what do you say?
They're partially right because when it comes down to it, and it's the same thing in UFC Ultimate Fighting. A lot of it's about points. But you only go to points when you can't knock anybody out or you can't put them down. One issue I had with a fighter in the UFC when they were doing the Ultimate Fighter, he would tell his people, get the points, get the points, get the points. No, you need to go knock somebody out or make somebody tap. That is because when you go to the scorecard, you never know how that's going to go. Ever.
So take it out of their hands.
I mean, yeah. And it's just like, let's just be honest, man. Floyd had, if I'm correct, a 6-inch reach advantage, 6-inch reach advantage. Right. He's also like 3 inches taller. So it's like, I mean, even though it doesn't really look like it, that's a big deal.
Right.
Because he can jab you to death just to keep you at a distance.
Right.
And really jabs, you're not knocking anybody out with a jab.
No,
ever.
No, you're not. And it's funny because I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather. I'm just not. You have a lot of people who got personal with the fight. I was one of those people. Mm-hmm. I think that I'm a person who's watched enough boxing in my life that I can tell you that Floyd's going to win the fight, but I didn't want him to. And so I was very vocal about, Pacquiao. I was Team Manny, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I said that, and I have no problem admitting it, that I actually said that. But I do have a problem with those folks who had a problem with Floyd running, and I'm using air quotes, in the fight. And my reason for that is, isn't the object of a boxing match to hit and not get hit?
Yeah.
So if you want to be upset about him running, be mad about Pacquiao not being able to catch him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you mad at Floyd for doing what it took to not get hit with a punch? I mean, come on now.
I can't be mad at that.
Of course you can't.
Who wants to get hit?
Nobody.
Nobody
You don't want to get hit. That's the whole object of a fight, is to not get hit. So you want to be mad because he was a defensive specialist that did not get punched in the face? That's kind of a punk mood as a fan.
I'm more upset that I feel like he went for the points.
But doesn't he do that in every fight?
Yeah,
though?
he does. That's why, don't get me wrong, he is the best pound-for-pound boxer
Right.
that alive today.
But, you know, a lot of people are introduced to boxing, you know, for the first time in that fight. You know, had a lot of people who just haven't paid attention to boxing. Boxing hasn't been something, it's been a spectacle in years.
Yeah.
And so the first foray into boxing was watching this fight. And so they didn't see there being much other than, you know, Floyd, you know, dancing around the room. And they did not find that to be a fun fight to watch. I would tend to agree with them. But if you watch Mayweather's fights, it's par for the course, Rube.
Yeah, I mean, I watch his fights. Am I a fan of Mayweather? I think he's a very good boxer. I respect his ability. I mean, I don't really care either war, but I'm also not an idiot, you know. He's going to win that fight because you can't catch him. It's that simple. There's a reason why he only has 9 knockouts. Because he has realized, I don't need to knock people out to win. I can just dance or run or whatever for 36 minutes, you know, and get the job done because nobody can touch me, and that's fine.
Let me take it in another direction. A couple of quick things I want to get to on this before we move on. We're going to talk about what has gone on in Baltimore, Maryland. The officers, of course, haven't been charged in the death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore in the aftermath of some of the civil unrest and things of that sort going on there. So we're going to definitely talk about that. We're going to spend a lot more time on this boxing thing, but we are going to finish, kind of put a bow on it. I'm going to just ask you a simple question, yes or no question, but then I want you to expand on your yes or no. Is boxing fixed? And it's just your opinion, you know. It's just your opinion. Is boxing fixed?
I don't watch enough of it now to know.
Okay. Do you think that the fact that you don't, like, you know, the Super Bowl is going to start at 6:19. It'll be a weird time, but you know what time it's going to start.
Yeah.
You know that there is a commissioner to the National Football League, Commissioner Roger Goodell. And there's a commissioner to National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, and, you know, others. There's no commissioner in boxing. There's 3 entities, as far as I can remember: WCBC, WBA, and then there's one
IBF.
more, IBF. Those are the major ones. There's no governing body.
And IBF really isn't major anymore.
So there's no governing body. So that lends to the thought process there might be some impropriety there. Do you think that it's odd that you know that you got to turn on the pay-per-view at 8 o'clock, but you have no idea what time you're going to see the fight that you want to see, the pay-per-view? Do you think that's odd?
Well, I don't think that's odd. However, I will say this. They do put out what time the main event in boxing is going to go. Because I did read that it was going to be at midnight. So I didn't rush to my friend's house to go. You know, I got there around 10 o'clock because I knew that the fight was going to start at 12 and, you know, go to hang out and stuff. And I had to work that day anyway. So as far as the governing body, there's never, at this point in time, until they can get their stuff together, it's all about money. And that's why there'll never be a governing body, because it's all about money. I would almost rather it be like Martial MMA, where you have the UFC, you have Bellator, you have Invicta, you have all these, but everybody knows their place. UFC is the big dog. You can't get there. You have Bellator, you have World Series of Fighting. You know, there are a couple ways you can go, but every fighter wants to be in UFC. Why? Because that's where the money is. That's where the legitimate money is. That doesn't say that these other little guys are bad. They fight for fighters all the time, because what happens is they go and run that, and then it's like, hey, I can get more money at UFC now. Peace out. So I mean, it's all about money, and until they get themselves together about the money part, and really, you just got some snakes in boxing. Yeah, you got some snakes.
You got a lot of snakes in boxing. One thing that I can kind of ask you about, as far as your opinion, is the legacy of Floyd Money Mayweather. And we've got a heavyweight champion, former heavyweight champion of the world, that's going to join us here on Aint No Half Steppin with Marcus J. live from the Dana Legacy and Net Radio. We're going to get his opinion, and then we're going to get our opinion, and then we're going to move on. Take it away, Mike.
Talk to me about the fight.
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting fight. This is just so awesome. This is great for the town of Vegas. This is great for the hotel. This is great for business. This is just beautiful.
Do you have any predictions?
I don't know. At first I took Pacquiao. This is going to be interesting. I know it's going to be a good fight regardless of who wins. It's going to be a good fight. Both guys are going to be up for this fight. And I think it's going to be a knockout. I don't think we go the distance.
What do you think about the heavyweight division now?
I don't think about it. Klitschko dominates. That's what it's about.
You think Wilder has a shot at Vladimir?
Clear the walkway, please. Back it up, everybody.
I don't know. He has to fight. I want to see him fight somebody else before Vladimir. Who else can he fight that's a top contender other than Vladimir? Who?
What do you think about Floyd talking about greater than Ali?
He's very delusional. He can't listen. If he was anywhere near that realm of greater than Ali, he'd be able to take his kids to school by himself.
There you go.
Okay, he can't take his kid to school by himself, and he's talking about he's great. Greatness is not guarding yourself from the people. Greatness is being accepted by the people. He can't take his kids alone to school by himself. He's a little scared man. He's a very small, scared man.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Mike Tyson said that Floyd Money Mayweather is a scared man. I wanted to play that clip, Ruben, because I wanted to kind of jump in and ask the question about the legacy, the long-term legacy of Floyd Money Mayweather, be the last thing we talk about on this subject. He came out and said that, he's the greatest, and, I don't believe that he said anything disparaging towards Muhammad Ali, but he made it clear that he, in his mind, felt that he was the greatest of all time, and I think that's kind of what got Mike a little bit annoyed. We didn't get a whole lot of comment out of Mike Tyson in that clip there, but he made it plain that he's not a fan of Floyd Mayweather in his current incarnation. What's your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather as far as his long-term legacy, the way that he chooses fights, any direction that you want to go in on this, brother?
Well, first of all, his last fight is in September.
Allegedly.
Well, he said that he's done on Saturday.
Allegedly.
So
I believe it when I see it.
I agree. So if he does win, he'll be 49-0. If he goes out and retires like a punk, then his legacy is he's just as good as Rocky Marciano. I'm sorry, man. At this point in time, if you stop at 49, that's what you're lumped with. Not saying Rocky Marciano is bad, because he's not. However, I mean, why share something where you can be it? Go 50-0. Take that chance, And I would like to see him go 50-0 and then retire. Then you can say you are the best boxer in the world. You have the best record. You've had the most titles. I mean, it's okay, and I'm fine with that. As far as what Mike Tyson said, I'm sorry, I don't really give a lot of stock into Tyson these days.
Right.
I mean, he's reinvented himself, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. He can call Floyd a scared little man or whatever he wants to call him. Yeah, Floyd's done some things that he probably shouldn't have done, and that's been real chronicled and things like that, so I don't have to go into it. But you know what? When it's all said and done, in his craft, he is undefeated.
I can dig that. And, my thing is this. I'm mixed on that because, we know that the greatest fighters of all time, the kind of fighters that we don't dispute, we don't have any question about their greatness. We don't wonder about their fighting styles. We don't say they ran in the ring. We don't say they picked and chose their opponents. Some of them lost fights, and it's okay to lose a fight. It's okay to be, Sugar Ray Leonard and have lost to, Hearns. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be Muhammad Ali and to have lost to Joe Frazier. You know what I'm saying? Just because Rocky Marciano went 49-0, never lost a fight, retired as a champion, yeah, he gets to be great. I got you. But Rocky Marciano didn't sit around and pick and choose his opponents in the calendar. He didn't sit around and make his decisions based upon financial obligations. He fought who was there and who was available. He fought whoever was out there. And also, to take it a step further, that generation, they weren't just fighting 49 times. Rocky Marciano did, but you want to start talking about greatest fighters, we talking about cats that fought 50, 60, 70, 80 fights. So we're supposed to put him in the class with the greatest of all time after having fought 48 fights? Not sure I'm ready to do that, especially somebody who's handpicking his opponents.
Well, let me ask you this. At this point in time, now that Pacquiao's done, is there anybody he has ducked?
Today, in this generation, he is the greatest fighter of this generation.
Well, yeah, and that's fine.
But I think that says more about this generation than it does about his greatness, because there is nobody else out there, and he's beaten everybody from Sugar Shane to Pacquiao to Oscar. I got you on that. He's the greatest of this generation. But when we start looking at of all time, I think we start looking at, maybe we take a step back. We can't, say that he was greater than Marvin Hagler, or greater than Thomas Hearns, or greater than, Sugar Ray Leonard, or Joe, Big Bro Joe. Shout out to him. Hopefully he's listening. He gave me Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know that we can say that Floyd is better than those cats. I remember the greatest fight that I ever saw in my life was in the spring, early part of April 1987, when Sugar Ray Leonard fought against Marvin Hagler. And it wasn't that he beat up Hagler so bad. He frustrated him so bad that he retired and never fought again. He didn't get beat up in that fight. He lost the fight. He didn't get beat up. He was so frustrated because he couldn't touch him. He couldn't hit him, that he literally never fought again. He just couldn't fight again. Same thing that Sugar Ray Leonard did to Roberto Duran. People think that No Mas fight was because he was getting beat up. No, it wasn't. It wasn't because he was getting beat up. It was because he was getting frustrated because he couldn't catch him. That's what it was. That's what
Pacquiao?
No, Floyd. This is what Floyd does to people. And so I understand his greatness. I'm not discounting his greatness. But I think sometimes a little humility makes you a little bit greater. And a little humility comes from that crooked letter in the right side of your dial instead of it all being on the left side of your dial. And so I can't put Floyd in the greatest of all time solely because he don't stand toe-to-toe. And that's okay. The whole point of fighting is to win and not get hit, and to hit, and I get you on that. But when you got cats that standing in front of other cats and they hitting people and getting hit, and they winning fights, and they winning belts, it's a little bit different for me.
I mean, I know you have very little, you don't have a lot of knowledge of MMA. But do you feel the same way about Ronda Rousey, who beats her people in 15, 30 seconds?
I never seen a woman fight like Ronda Rousey. And, I got into a discussion with people talking about, Layla Ali would be Ronda Rousey. With all due respect to Layla Ali and her beauty and her name, Ronda Rousey would tie her in a knot and throw her across the room.
Well,
and that's just how
Not to mention the weight class is off completely.
Yeah, but, you can work around that. You can gain weight, you can lose weight. You can get to where you want to be with regards to that. First of all, let me give a shout out to our brother Hakeem, who's listening to us. Hakeem says that he's not the greatest of his generation. He didn't fight Margarito when he had the belt, or Paul Williams or Sergio Martinez. He fought the top cats like Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Cotto, Mosley when they were past their prime, which is very, very good point. And that speaks to the point that I made about him sitting around looking at the calendar and picking and choosing who he wants to fight. It reminds me of a scene in Rocky 3, one of my favorite movies of all time, when Rocky has the press conference and Clubber Lang, Mr. T, disrespects him and his wife. And he goes home and Mickey's like, I'm done. I don't want to fight anymore. And, Rocky's like, what's your problem? Why don't you want to do this? And Mickey tells him they were setups. And he was like, you didn't fight nobody that was all in their prime. It was always someone who had an angle. You know what I mean? You fighting these old timers, these people who have names, but you're not fighting these names in their prime. And I think that this kind of the idea that I was alluding to, but our brother Hakeem basically hit the nail on the head. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. live from the den. Legacy Internet Radio. Going to take our first break of the night, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Baltimore, Maryland. We've got civil unrest. We've got arrest of the police officers who were involved in the death of Freddie Gray, and you've got a person who was rioting who was arrested, and his bail was, let's just say, a bit interesting as opposed to the bail set for the police officers. Big Rube, Marcus J. And I have Steppin' Marcus J. Brother Dave in LA is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour, and that's why it's on our way. And I have Steppin' Marcus J. Be back in a few minutes.